soon Mark will have to pay for his own petrol and parking fees. By donating just one child today, you will help Mark and thousands of other social workers meet their annual target. Please text CHILD to social services and donate a child today.
Sorry, carry on.
They don't want physically abused children because nobody wants to adopt them.
If you had a choice between a brand new shiny car and a second-hand banger, what would you go for?
They use dead children as an excuse to take perfectly happy children.
You've got one child removed every 20 minutes in the UK.
I've recorded things.
I didn't know about any of this a year ago. I want to make sure that everybody knows about this.
You are doing something really good.
Thank you.
I mean it.
That this becomes public knowledge, that this stops.
One of the utterly disgusting things about these people who are engaged in this child trafficking is that they have this limited little selection of mantras, borderline personality disorder. Who in the world could not be interpreted as having a borderline personality disorder? We all, when we flip, when we lose our temper, when we shout at someone, it is a perfect catch-all, completely meaningless label to put on someone.
Social workers think they're such wonderful, devoted, caring people that anyone who doesn't like them must have a personality disorder. So that means half the room, I think. Certainly includes me. But everybody, maybe.
Borderline personality disorder. Everybody's got one.
I've seen psychiatric reports written by people, by psychiatrists or psychologists, who haven't even met the mother in question, who have written, this woman is clearly unfit to be a mother because she is suffering from a borderline personality disorder. Not because they've met the mother, but simply because they've been told by the social workers a lot of lies. You have a whole profession now of these quack, joke doctors and psychologists who are constantly used. They're called hard guns.
Some of the experts, I mean, that's another industry in itself.
They're there to be used by the local authorities to write these totally meaningless, bogus reports full of psychobabble.
We have people who clearly aren't expert at what they're doing.
Often just taken off the internet or from some template.
Or from a previous report that
we
written
had a
for
case,
the local authorities.
There was one particularly laughable example where a mother had to challenge a report submitted to the court, and she looked at it and she said, this is not talking about my daughter because it's talking about he all the time. And it was quite clear that the psychologist had simply taken something from somewhere else, fed it through her computer, but she hadn't noticed that the sex had changed to the person she was meant to be writing about.
Well, basically, they just use what they want to use. They don't care about
if it says what they want, it's great. If it doesn't matter how much money they spent, they'll go on and do something else.
What did the judge say about this then?
It was magistrates in this case, and they ignored it.
It's a case of, it's like playing Monopoly with someone who tips the board up. They get to the point where they're not going to win, and the ball goes well, and you've got to start from scratch.
Yeah.
And it's a case of, you're still reeling from what's happened before, and why can't you let the past go, Mr. Barnard?
Yeah.
We're starting fresh. It's a new beginning. Let's begin again. And I've begun again in excess of 30 times. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
The challenge was made, and they said, oh, well, that's not relevant. The child still should be taken away. It just passed them by. We're dealing with very low-grade people here. And magistrates are the worst of all, because, of course, they haven't got even any legal qualifications. At least the judges have got that.
Yeah.
In family court, often the judge is a lay person.
I mean, there are one or two quite good judges. I don't want to be totally condemnatory. And there
we by no means...
There are some very, very nasty and evil judges who behave quite beyond... I mean, they behave to human beings, people in front of them in the court, in a way which they wouldn't dream of doing if they knew that the public was allowed in and the press was there.
Such people who ill-treat children in this way don't go near courts. The sort of parents who go to the family courts are parents who are desperate, who love their children in general and want to get them back. They wouldn't go through grueling cross-examination from nasty barristers acting for the social services if they didn't really love their children and want them back.
How is it that when children are seized Why is it the police are so compliant with it?
They took him from me and I was trying to protect him. So ever since that's happened, I feel like I've done something wrong. I didn't protect my son.
You're brought up to respect.
You're brought up to trust and respect authority.
Would you calm down if someone stole your child?
They had an order. If you look at it though, you can see it's photocopied most of it, and then you can see where the pen pressed down, where they filled out a bit of it. So that was an obvious fabrication, and they've never shown the original. And the police just blindly follow the order. They say they've got an order, they've got to follow it. You know, it sort of reminded me of the Nuremberg trials.
The social services should be there to protect our children, and they're not. They're there to scare us into doing what they want us to do. So basically, if they don't find these kids for adoption, if they don't find an excuse, whatever that excuse may be, whether how minor it is or major, they will lose money. Yeah. So in effect, children are being adopted because of the monetary incentives.
Yes. I don't particularly like people. I don't, and it makes it very difficult to be a social worker. Which is the reason I don't like people, so it's circular.
If you don't meet your target, you're also docked across the board in your entire grant. So the incentive to find kids for adoption is overwhelming.
In theory, a child should only be in foster care if it's necessary, not for just stupid reasons.
Well, what would be stupid reasons?
Well, in my view, if you've got a situation where mum's been beaten up by dad and they've split up, and mum's got the kids, you shouldn't take the kids off mum.
Well, why do they then?
Well, you have to ask them. It's called...
Well, you're an MP, you make the laws,
yeah, but the
of.
point is the courts don't necessarily follow the laws, because they're in secret. They don't necessarily follow the laws properly, and all sorts of procedural things go wrong.
Don't worry about it, we'll stand here all night.
Well, you can stand here all night then, sweetheart. It's too cold for you to be doing that, and to be honest, you're supposed to be out catching criminals. Now, I've done nothing wrong.
We're not calling you a criminal.
No, but that's what your job is. Your job is to go catch criminals, people that actually break the law.
After dealing with these 2 police officers, all of a sudden another 4 turned up.
Right, we're here to do a welfare check on your child.
Right.
So if you facilitate that, I'm sure we can assist you.
I requested that only 2 officers enter my home.
I will let 2 officers into my house. 2.
Well, I'm the sergeant, so Rowan will come in, we'll have a chat to you, alright, and we'll take it from there.
And they asked me very nicely, could you just make sure the dog's not in the way, you know.
I don't know your dog, you know your dog. Would you be able to get your dog under control in a different room away from the baby so we could just go in and do the welfare check without having to worry about dogs? It could be very, very straightforward, this. I don't think it has to be as complicated as it seems.
I know. You don't need a dog shield at all. It's not aggressive whatsoever.
Just to tell you guys, you have been recorded.
I know, we are aware of that, thanks.
Okay, even on the computer.
That's fine.
We expect you to honour your oath today.
We're going to checking the welfare of a small child. It's nothing to do with criminal investigation at this stage.
Okay.
We're coming in to basically check the welfare of a child, but we have a power to do that, to save life and limb.
Save life and limb is right.
That's common law, yeah.
Yeah, that's common law.
Yeah.
So we can enter on that.
Okay, yeah, then we grant you permission to come and view the child.
Simple as that.
You've got 1 child removed every 20 minutes in the UK, 24/7, 365 days a year, right now. So during this today, how many kids have been removed? And it has to be immediate risk of harm. Remember that for any removal, right? And it's obviously not the majority of the time. We're all proof of that.
And the superior officer has come into my home after again clarifying that there was a welfare check, that he was under his oath, that all of a sudden, due to my concealment of pregnancy, that they were forcibly taking my son from my care.
Concealed pregnancy.
I haven't concealed a pregnancy at
Well,
all.
I'm going to take the child. Why are we on that?
Whoa, 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 whoa. No.
Yes, yes. No.
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 I am a breastfeeding mother.
That's fine. Spence?
No.
No.
Just come in.
No.
No.
Under what law?
And then the rest barged in.
What court order? I want a
No.
fucking court order right now in this house. Stand by and judge.
There's
the wet
nothing wrong with it.
Right, can you go to
Sal, I mean,
I want
Come
a
on,
wet
Gary.
ink signature. Are you getting
outside.
nervousness from me? No,
Gary,
I've been
Gary.
peaceful.
Come outside.
I've been peaceful.
No, you have.
They've assaulted my partner. They've assaulted me. And we caught it all on film.
Just come outside.
Come outside with your officers.
Can I ask you why?
Because you're obstructing us.
I'm not obstructing
You are.
you.
just do me a favour. I know.
No, no, please. No.
Nobody say anything.
This is fucking illegal.
Stay calm.
You're obstructing me in my duty. Now, please leave.
Paul was in no way obstructing. He was at the other side of the room at the time of his arrest.
Why are you taking my son? Why are you taking my son?
He was never read his rights, so he wasn't arrested.
Why?
Our child has been stolen!
Right.
Our child has been stolen!
Right.
Our child has been stolen! Our child
Now, you need to speak to John Emming, because he's got the bloody statistics.
We know, for instance, last year that about 11,000 children were compulsorily taken into care. That compares to the figures in 1995 of 5,500. You have to ask yourself, are the children any safer now that 11,000 are taken into care each year rather than 5,500? I think the answer is no, which gives you evidence to the fact that the care system's taking the wrong children into care.
Why do you think they're taking children away from perfectly good families and putting them into foster care with people that could possibly abuse them themselves?
It's money. It all boils down to money in the end. They get thousands of pounds per child just on the day they remove them. And the longer they can keep that child in care, the more money they get in their back pocket, and they get their points for their little catalogue.
Up till 2 years ago, there were millions of pounds, which I listed on my website, given to the councils for fulfilling their adoption targets. There was such a fuss about this, adopting people just to get the money, that the targets were abolished officially, the money target. But the targets still exist. The instruction from Tony Blair, the Prime Minister at the time, to increase adoptions by 40% in so much time, that still exists, and they still go for adoptions.
I'm on Dun & Bradstreet at the moment, and then you go through, it says search for company, social services, let's go, and there we have it. All these are trading for profit companies. I think it's 20. Is it any wonder they want to take our kids into care? You know how many of these social services are there? Yeah, pretty interesting, huh?
If you don't meet your target, you're also docked across the board in your entire grant. So the incentive to find kids for adoption is overwhelming.
There is no police evidence. It's all hearsay. It's all made up.
Be prepared to lose.
Evidence is what they decide it is.
The whole system is rigged.
Local authorities very often make up evidence.
And judges will accept that.
You were just doing your job. Well, they used to say that in World War II. They were called the SS. Same initials. Go figure.
Every conversation you ever have must be recorded.
Can I just ask, have you got any recording equipment today?
Probably about. You sometimes find files get mysteriously shredded.
My medical records do not reflect the fact I have given birth.
It's policy. This is why it's so keen on covering it up.
All right.
You can tell them what they want, and if they want to twist it, you will be the evil person.
Local authorities very often make up evidence.
They mentioned that I was arrested for domestic violence.
Well, I said we run her over.
Child stealing scum, go away. Thank you.
They get thousands of pounds per child just on the day they remove them.
Second oldest profession is child trafficking. That's been going on
Right.
ever since, in one form or another, since the time of ancient Greece or Europe.
That is child trafficking. Our child has been stolen! Our child...
Why are you filming me? Because I don't really want to be filmed.
All these are trading for profit companies. Is it any wonder they want to take our kids into care?
And the longer they can keep that child in care, the more money they get in their back pocket.
We are dealing with complete, utter lunacy here.
I don't want to be filmed. Well, you are filming me.
They've been getting away with it since the early 90s, since the family court was set up.
I think if I invite someone in, what are they going to take?
You're brought up to respect.
You're brought up to trust and respect authority.